Why is typing instruction important? As elementary students, you've already got plenty to learn in language arts, math, science, health, and all your other subjects. But knowing how to effectively use a computer is also a vital skill in today's world. You'll be using computers more and more with your schoolwork, and you'll definitely be using computers quite a bit as an adult regardless of what profession you go into. Knowing how to type properly saves time and will allow you to work more efficiently. Teachers can easily identify students who have had typing practice almost immediately when they see students working on the computers. Students who know how to type look and perform differently when working on the computers here at school. Teachers know that they can either take the time now to teach proper keyboarding skills, or the students will take the time later as they hunt and peck for keys on the keyboard. Proper body posture and hand placement is an important element in typing. Understanding how to sit properly at a computer and how to use your hands is essential to good keyboarding. As you work through the Type to Learn program, it will continually remind you about your posture. Pay close attention to those tips and really make an effort to follow them. Let's go over some of those proper posture tips now. As I go over these tips, go ahead and try them at your own computer. First of all, you should be sitting straight in your chair, not at an angle, and with your back straight. Take a moment to do this. Your body should be centered on the J key. You might need to scoot your keyboard to the side or scoot your chair either way, but try and line your belly button up with the J key. Take a moment to do this. You should be sitting a comfortable distance from the keyboard. It's suggested to be able to put one hand flat between your belly and the keyboard, not the table, so that means you might need to scoot the keyboard forward or back, or scoot your chair in or out a little bit. Take a moment to do this. If possible, your feet should be flat on the floor. If you can't touch the floor yet, that's not a problem. Just let your feet dangle comfortably in front of you. Take a moment to do that. When typing, your eyes should be on the monitor screen, not your fingers on the keyboard. I know students tend to want to watch your fingers because that's where the action is and you're trying to look at which keys you type. However, if you take the time to watch your fingers, it's going to slow you down considerably. As the Type to Learn program goes, it's going to teach you which fingers to use for different keys. Follow those directions carefully and practice watching the screen and not your fingers. If you can do that, you're going to become a fast typist. If you can't do that, you're going to constantly be slowing yourself down because you're making mistakes while you're typing. Let's do a quick posture check from what we know so far. Everyone should be sitting back straight, body centered on the J key, one hand span from the keyboard, feet on the floor if possible, with your eyes on the monitor. Everybody try this. When you're working on the computer, your fingers should always be on a set of keys that we call home row. To put your fingers on home row, stick out your index fingers, which are the fingers you use to point with, and place your left index finger on the F key and your right index finger on the J key. Then let the rest of your fingers fall out behind that so that your left hand is on the A, S, D, and F keys, and your right hand is on the J, K, L, and semicolon keys. Your thumb should be resting comfortably over the space bar, as shown here in this picture. Go ahead and try that. Everybody place your fingers on the home row. If you look closely at the F and the J key on your keyboard, you should see a little line towards the bottom of those keys. If you touch those keys, you'll feel that line as a bump. That bump is a guide that allows you to find the F and the J key without looking. If you can find the F and the J key without looking, you can then put your fingers on the rest of home row without using your eyes at all. Let's go ahead and try that. Everybody close your eyes, don't look at your keyboard, and see if you can place your fingers on home row by finding those two guide bumps. Everyone go ahead and try that. Now, whenever you sit down at a keyboard, your fingers should automatically go to home row. And they stay on home row until you have to press a key. Whenever you press another key, your finger will always come back to the home row position as soon as it's finished. Imagine that there's glue on those home row keys. So whenever a finger leaves a home row key, it's automatically going to be pulled back. Now, with your fingers on home row, your wrist should be low and straight, but not resting on the keyboard or desk while you're typing. This is important because if you get in the habit of resting your wrist on the desk, you will actually hurt your wrist after many years of typing in this position. Go ahead and try that. Everybody put your fingers on home row, with your wrists straight and not resting on the desk. Your arms should be relaxed at your side, with your elbows naturally close to the body. Go ahead and try that. Now that we've covered the basics of good typing posture, let's go ahead and review. As I go through this list, do this for yourself at your computer. So everyone should be sitting back straight, bodies centered on the J key, one hand span from the keyboard, your wrists should be off the desk, your feet should be on the floor if possible, your fingers should be on home row, your eyes should be on your monitor, and your arms should be relaxed and at your side. Go ahead and try that. We've covered the grade level typing goals and proper typing posture. Now let's take a look at the Type to Learn 4 program itself. After you log in and start Type to Learn 4, you'll use this control panel to navigate the different parts of the program. As I mentioned earlier, Type to Learn 4 has 34 different lessons. You can tell what lesson you're on by looking at the very top of your control panel. The first thing you do when you get to a lesson is you click Begin to go through that actual lesson. The lesson will appear in the middle of your screen and it will explain the different steps to you. You can tell where you are in the lesson by watching the steps down here in the bottom left corner. You can watch your goals over here on the left side, and you can also check your medallion status on the right side here. This medallion is something that's going to fill up as you progress in the game. When you're going to the lessons, be careful and watch the fingers there that are being used below. This will demonstrate which fingers to use with different keys. The lessons will also specifically explain this, so pay close attention to this and make sure you're using the proper fingers for each key. When you complete a lesson, you should see a screen like this that will show how well you did. It'll list your accuracy and your words per minute. Now, words per minute won't start showing up until you're into the later lessons. Pay attention to that words per minute and accuracy and try and stay above your grade level goal. After you've successfully completed the lesson, you'll notice a green check has appeared next to the lesson number. Once the lesson is done, you can now begin doing the practice games down below. Simply click on the name of the practice game and follow the directions on the screen. After you successfully complete each game, you'll notice a green check appears next to it. Once you have a green check in the lesson, all the games, and the final challenge, you can then move on to the next lesson by clicking the next button. You'll notice there's a red X in some of the items. That means it's not required for this lesson. However, as you go to other lessons, you will notice that they do become available. You'll see here that I am now on lesson 2, where I can begin the cycle again by clicking the Begin button to work through the lesson.